Kyle Larson, one of the drivers that will be making his Camping World Truck Series debut tonight, but he'll have to go to the back of the field because he was a driver who had a problem shifting during practice earlier, overrevved the engine. They had to change the motor on that.
Yeah, we had a couple of those. Ty Dillon also in the 3 truck.
Which is crazy unusual. You never hardly see that, but I hear the guys were trying to knock it out of gear and knocked it into the wrong gear. So learning process when you're that young, just getting going.
How about young Kyle Larson has been able to make the move up to the 15th position after starting in the back.
Not bad. Just like Johnny Sauter, that's a good move for that kid. Ty Dillon has only made it up to the 12th spot, so he's been able to pretty much match what Ty's done. So great job for Kyle.
Yeah, a lot of talent doing a great job. 3rd in points in the K&N Pro Series East, including a win already at Gresham.
Just outside the top 10, that kid Kyle Larson is up to the 11th spot from the back of the pack. That's so cool to watch a young man show up here and be able to race with these guys. Not only race with them, but race through them. He's come all the way up to 11th. There he is.
And again, a young man, Kyle Larson, just 19 years old, out of Elk Grove, California.
It's a pretty good company there. He's got Jason Leffler, the 18 truck, and Ty Dillon right in front of him. Doing a great job here for his first ever start.
You can see Leffler's down on the inside of Ty Dillon, trying to take that spot away from him, battling for the 9th position.
But Jason driving for the team owned by Kyle Busch. Kyle won this truck race here 1 year ago. Jason got a little bit loose down there underneath Ty.
How about the 4 of Kyle Larson? He's going to pass Jason Leffler
into the top 10.
So a great run by Kyle Larson.
I'm telling you guys, I saw this young man down in the garage area earlier today, and I didn't know who he was at first, and I didn't think he was old enough to have a license yet. And then you hear about all the racing he's doing, winning races in the K&N Series, racing sprint cars and midgets all over the country, and certainly knows how to drive one of these trucks. And you can see there he's a young man and doing a great job.
And amazingly enough, a lot of times when a driver will make their first start in the Camping World Truck Series, it's going to be on a short track. But not with Kyle Larson. He's on a 1.5-mile, very fast racetrack, very tough. And he's running very well.
I think what enabled him to do that is the fact that he ran the ARCA race at Michigan, a 2-mile track, just a couple weeks ago.
You could hear the spotter giving him a lot of advice, and that's great advice he's getting right there. He said, did you see the 18 get loose under the 3? Just beware. When you get down there, your truck's going to want to do the same thing. So be steady and be careful, but when you get down on the inside of them, beware.
A learning experience for Kyle Larson. How about a guy breaking into the top 10, though? Kyle Larson now running in the 9th spot, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and we talk about how important laps and experience are in this type of racing for a guy like Kyle Larson. Obviously having a very solid night, and he's learning a lot now about what lines to use on the racetrack. And what he did when the 3 truck of Ty Dillon started catching him on the racetrack, he simply moved up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, took the air off the nose of Ty Dillon, and has slowly started to pull away again. He has a lot of experience on this team with his crew chief, Trent Owens. They're talking to him lap by lap. The only unique thing is they're doing all the talking. The driver's not saying a word, but he is driving a very, very smart race so far.
How about what he has been able to do already this season? 3rd in the K&N East points. He's got a win at Gresham Motorsports Park. Finished 13th in his ARCA debut at Michigan. Looking to improve upon that in his first NASCAR start, at least in the top 3 series here in the Truck Series.
As you can see, he swept the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora all the same night. That Sprint Cars, Midgets, and Silver Crown. Incredible effort by this young man.
Yeah, nominee for last year's Speed Performer of the Year. Pretty impressive young man. And in front of Ty Dillon, who's been consistent in the Camping World Truck Series since Daytona.
All top 10 finishes for Ty this year, each and every race.
So an impressive run for young Kyle Larson. All around goes Cale Gale, and the 29 of Parker Kligerman looks as though he got into the wall.
Straight, hold on, spin it, log it out. Good job.
Ooh. Oh, good job to the very end.
Yeah,
it looked like he had that baby saved. And he
hit, boys. I don't think you hit nothing, did you? I hit hard on the left.
Yeah, you see the damage to the left front.
We think it might be the 4 of Kyle Larson that got into that 33. Take a look.
There's Kyle down on the bottom of the racetrack. He gets loose on the bottom, has to chase it up the hill, runs out of room, made contact with Cale.
Watch this job that Cale does. Uses the wall a little bit as an assist. Looks like he's heading in the right direction, but it just was out of control on him. and so close to keeping it out of that wall. Bam, right at the end.
See, Kyle Larson now drives down to the inside. He needs more racetrack because he gets loose down there. He chases it up the hill, then he makes contact with Cale. Watch Parker Kligerman. He had nowhere to go. He got up in the loose stuff and made slight contact with the outside wall.
He'd already hit the wall about that hard once before, so didn't seem to hurt him too bad before. Is it that bad for Parker Kligerman? Yeah. He'll probably come to pit road and pull the fenders out. Nothing to lose. Doesn't have any track position.
Yeah, these things take a pretty good beating, don't they?
They do nowadays. Between the safer barrier and the way they're constructed along that right side, you can bounce them off the wall, it seems. Nelson Piquet, another good example of that. He hit the wall off turn 4 and ran up front.
Just as you mentioned, just at the last second, that thing swings around and pops the inside wall with that left front corner.
There's Kyle Larson. Talked about this young man making his start in the Camping World Truck Series, working inside of Miguel Paludo.
It's a battle for the 11th spot.
The last time he was down on the inside of someone, we had a spin off turn 2. So see what Kyle learned from that experience and if he can hang on to it underneath Paludo.
Still a long way to go with this one. 30 laps to go.
Larson a little bit sideways off turn 2. He's clearly a little bit faster than Paludo, but man, finishing that pass is so hard.
See Jason White just in front of the 4 of Kyle Larson.
That's a battle for the 10th spot right there. Kyle Larson had dropped back behind Miguel Paludo, and now he's gotten back by Paludo, going after Jason White for the 10th spot. The top 10 in your first race would be a good feather in his cap.
Very impressive run for the 4 of Kyle Larson. Still on the lead lap, Clay Greenfield in the 68, Paulie Haraka in the 5. Those guys are running 18th and 17th respectively.
Yeah, good solid top 20 runs for those trucks if they can finish it off here to the end.
Justin Lofton involved in an incident earlier tonight. He's running in the 16th spot with some damage to that truck. And a top 10 finish for Kyle Larson in his debut in the Camping World Truck Series. Want to take a look at our Ramp Guts and Glory tonight.
This is a pretty good call, Rick. Watch the job this Ford truck of Kyle Larson does, squirting through that little hole and then diving to the bottom and clearing that crash.
There's another view of it. Just slips by the 11 up top. And remember, lost the majority of his practice due to an engine change. Had to go all the way back for the start of the race. Start from the back of the pack.
Made the most of his run today. Finishes in the top 10.
Hermie, from East Cars to 410 sprints, Kyle Larson will drive anything. And tonight you come home in your very first start with a top 10. You satisfied?
Oh yeah. I didn't get much practice, so to get a top 10 in my first truck start with really no laps before today is really satisfying. You know, Trent Owens gave me a great truck with, you know, I got to thank Turner Motorsports and Chip Ganassi for giving me the opportunity to run tonight, and you know, big thanks to those guys, and you know, hope we can get some more races throughout the year.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, I'm almost 20 years old, so I have a driver's license, but got a few speeding tickets, so you know, hopefully don't get my license taken away. But yeah, I'm 20. I know I look like I'm probably 12, but I'm almost 20.
Well, and not only is he 20, guys, but he's also winning lots of races, and he has a great debut tonight, finishing 10th.
How fun was that?
Yeah.
For a good kid.
You know, his crew chief, Trent Owens, just won the last race in the Nationwide Series at Road America. Very impressive 2 performances back-to-back for Trent Owens.